Hello, we are Group 11, and our topic is the Red Cross from the time specifically around World War I. Our first primary source we have to use is the War Service Register from Indiana University alumni who were enlisted from 1860 to 1945. This list is strictly women listed in alphabetical order who were enlisted during this time period. The War Service Register is helpful for determining which Indiana University alumni were involved in the Red Cross during and around the time of World War I. The significance of this list is kind of questionable, however, because the War Register list does not give that much useful information, and we are unsure what the significance of the list actually is. It clearly shows those from Indiana University involved in the war, but would be much more helpful to know what types of things they did, as well as how they were impacted by their positions. Our second source, which is also a primary source, is a compilation of letters written from the Red Cross and pamphlets discussing the Red Cross comfort kits. All letters were written near the end of World War I, which means they are all from around the time of 1918. Found in this source is an informative pamphlet for Red Cross comfort kits. This is helpful because it shows what was needed for each kit given to the active soldiers. It also depicts how influential the Red Cross was during this time. The specific instructions in the pamphlet help us understand what it was like to work for the Red Cross and what kind of things they did to help the soldiers during the war. Also, many of the letters in Source 2 were written from the Red Cross and discussed recruitment and membership campaigns for Red Cross participants. This helps show the importance of numbers in the Red Cross and how much they relied on the participation of the community. Most of the letters are repetitive information though, and they're not very descriptive, so it could be hard to learn a lot from only these sources. You could combine these letters with another source, however, to increase knowledge about the significance of the letters. After looking at the two different sources, we did come up with a couple questions that we had about them. The first question is, what is the background or the history of the Red Cross? If we wanted to answer this question, all I think we would have to do is really just search the internet or the IU library resources for additional information. Another question is, what is the significance of the War Register list, and what information can we learn by using this? One thing we could do to figure out the answer to this question is we could just talk with the archivist at the library to learn more. The last question we have about the sources is, who was given the comfort kit instruction pamphlet and how long did it take them to construct one of these kits? One way we thought of that we could figure this question out was we could call the American Red Cross office to see if there's anyone there who knows more about the history and what exactly the comfort kits were. Overall, after looking at these sources, our research question for the project is, how did the Red Cross receive funding for their mission during this time, and how did they put it to use? Since we have selected a question, our team will divide up the research and focus on building a final presentation. Alexis plans to use The Empire of Humanity work by Michael Barnett to discuss how the Red Cross started, who was involved, and where the money came from during the Red Cross's beginning days. Alex will research where the funding for the Red Cross came from by using IU library sources, just as Brant will when Brant researches just how the Red Cross put the funding they received to good use. Stephen will research what role did women play in the recruitment and funding for missions of the Red Cross, were they successful, and how crucial were women to the Red Cross to allow them to thrive during wartime. Finally, Josh will research whether there were any other groups doing something similar to the Red Cross at this time, and how successful were they, and how did they receive their funding. Now that we all have our parts, we can't wait to move on to the next project.